Hello everyone, welcome back to the classes. It's me, Ayush Dukania. So today I come up with a very interesting problem from the code safe. So before we start, hit the subscribe button if you haven't done it yet. And in the playlist section, you will find the playlists of Python programming tutorial, C programming tutorial, and coding camp in which we are solving various programmings. So if you like any of the playlists, save them to the library. So let's start. So we are solving that problem from the code shape, and you will find that problem in the practice session of that. So today's problem is factorial. So I will provide the link of that in the description. You will firstly solve it by yourself. So let's read the problem statement. Start reading the problem statement. So it is written as uh, the most important part of a GSM network is so-called base transceiver station. These transceivers form the areas called cells. This term gave the name to cellular phone, and every phone connects to BTS and with the strongest signal. Alright. Of course, BTS need some attention and technicians to need to check their functionality periodically. So as you see here, we cannot conclude what we have to do. Just they are making a story. This problem statement. So let's read the further. The technician faced very interesting problem recently. Given a set of BTSs to visit, they needed to find the shortest path to visit all the given points and return back to the central company building. Programmers have spent several months studying this problem, but with no result. They were unable to find the solution fast enough. After a long time, one of the programmers found this problem is this problem in a conference article. Unfortunately, he found that the problem is so-called traveling salesman problem, and it is very hard to solve. If we have n BTSs to visit, we can visit them in any order given by n factorial. We did it as a n factorial is a mathematical expression. N factorial possibilities to examine. The functions, the function expressing that number is called factorial and can be computed as this equation. So what is this equation saying that, like, if you have talk about n factorial, then it means and 1 multiplier 2 multiplier 3 till we have to multiply it, and this will gives us n factorial. Like if we want to take factorial of 3, so 3 factorial is 1 multiply 2 multiply 3, that is equals to 6. So this is the basically meaning of any factorial or n factorial or 3 factorial something. So if you read further, the number is very high enough for a relatively small n. All right. The programmers understood they had no chance to solve the problem, but because they have already received the research grant from the government, they needed to continue with their studies and produce at least some results. So again, making some stories. Let's see the example. For example, they defined the function z. For any positive integer z, the function z is the number of zeros at the end of the decimal number formed by factorial n. Alright, so they are saying that z of any number gives us the number of zero at the end of that number. If you assume that this is a n factorial, then the number at the end you have to give in this by this function. Like in this we have to do, like, let's take an example of z of 5. 5. So first we have to conclude 5 factorial, that is 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5, and that will equal to 120. So in this we have 1 0 at the end of 5 factorial, or at the end of this number. So z of 5 will give us 1. This is they are saying. Now they notice that the function never decreases. If we have two numbers where n2 is greater than n1, then number of zeros is always greater or equal number of z2. Like as you see, if you will compute uh, z of 6, so in this just 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 times till 6, and that is 120 times 6. So this 0 will never lose, that they are saying. So it is because you can never lose any trailing 0 by multiplying by any positive number, just what I explained you. So we can only get new and new zeros. The function z is very interesting. So we need to compute programming that can determine its value efficiently. So if you read the problem statement and conclude, then they just want the number of zeros at the end of any n factorial number. So what is the input is the input here is t and n, and we have to output a single line containing the non-negative integer z of n. So if you think about a brute force or simple solution, so you can thought like that. If first we conclude n factorial, like in this, if we have to find the solution of 5, then first we will compute n factorial as a 5 factorial, and then we will count the number of zeros at the end. But as the number are quite large, you will get as TLE in computing n factorial. So we are thinking about some different approach. So let's think about how this 0 will come. So definitely, uh, like when we multiply any number with 10, then it will give us 0. So we have to multiply 10 to get any 0. And if we do the prime factorization of 10, then we get that is nothing but 2 times 5. So here our solution become is simple. Like if we calculate the number of 2 or 5, then we will get the number of zeros easily. Like as you see in the expression of this, uh, you see in the expression of this, at every alternate number you can find 1 2. Like in this 2, in this 4 another we have two twos. Similarly, like in 6 and 8 we have 2. So we have enough amount of 2 in this expression. So if we only calculate the number of 5s, then we will get the answer, or we will get the count of zeros at the end of the number. So how we calculate that number of that how many times a 5 occur? So let's then take an example of 60 as also given here. So 60 is nothing but 12 times 5. So it means that we have 12 5 till 60, like in 5, then again 10, then in 15. Similarly, we have 12 5 in this. But 12 is not the answer. Answer is the 14. So we are missing something. Like as you see, 25 is 5 times 5. So in 25, we have 2 5. And by dividing let's we dividing 60 by 5, that will give us 12 basically. So by dividing 60, we can only get 1 5, not the both. So we have to divide 60 also by 25. That will give us 2. I'm taking the quotient only, not the remainder. So it will give us 2, and 14 plus 2 give us 12 plus 2 times give us 14. That is our answer. And also similarly in 50, we again have 25 times 2, and here we have 2 5. Okay. So let's take another example, like 130. So first we divide 130 by 5. That will give us 26. Yes. And then we divide 130 by 25. That will give us 3. No, sorry. It will give us 5. And like Like as you see, 5 and again another number is 25, that will give us another 5. So in order to get another 5, like a number like 125 has 3 5 in it, 1 times 5 times 5 times 5. So as you see, every another number is just a multiple of 5, like 5, like it is 5 square, it is 5 cube. So 125 is less than 30, so it also comes under 125, 130, and we have to also calculate that 5. So we have to divide 130 by 125, that will give us another 5, which 125 have, and at the end we have to just add 26, 5 and 1 to get our answer. I think you understand the approach what we are going to implementing in our problem. Like, and if not, let's see the code for better understanding. We have to taking a T and N. All right. So let's change it to bits less std c plus plus dot h. And you also by clicking here save this as a template, as we are always using this bits cases. All right. So first we have to let's the number are quite large, like see here the range is very large, so we are also defining here as define ll for long that will conclude till 10 plus to 80 numbers. Now LLT for the test case, taking T as an input and running a loop over the test case. Now we have to take a number T in and N of N. Alright. So let's include N as a our answer as a 0 initially, and we have to run a over loop over from 5 to less than equals to N, and every times our I becomes I times 5. All right. And in answer we have to add, like answer is equals to answer plus that number divided by uh, I, that number divided by I, like in 60, like in 60 we divide that by 5, it give us 12, and in another pass we divide our 60 by 25, that will give us 2, and that becomes our 12 plus 2 14. All right. So after that we just see out our answer and handle for the breaking of lines. So let's copy this sample input from here. S6 is the test case, and let's run the on the custom input by clicking over here, run it and see what happens. Running, so it gives us output like 0 14 24 253, 0 14 253. So they are same like that. All right. So here as you see this line, you can also write this line as uh, answer plus equal and divided by I. Like instead of writing same variable name many times, we can also use this symbol. So let's check is it is working or not. These are some hacks at the competitive time to reduce our time in coding, in writing a code also. Basically. So they are giving the same output. Let's submit it and try to and see what happening. Well, it is a little tricky to say from the TLE. Uh, so it gives us correct answer. We, we are done with it. Hope you guys understand the problem and its implementation. And still, if you guys are having any trouble or any problem, comment it down. We will discuss that. And all right, guys. Thank you for watching. We will meet in the next video. Till then, happy coding.